you're telling us we gotta risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Where is everybody? Please tell me where they've gone. Please tell me. Where is everybody? Oh, look!
Welcome to Virtual Class with Keyboarding with Mr. Labar and Mr. Dick. Mr. Labar is absent today, and so it's just going to be me, Mr. Dick, going over a variety of things. And so hopefully you stay tuned for the whole thing. There's going to be some fresh new pieces and a couple of pieces of review. So we're going to start with one piece of review. We're going to be looking at that if statement one more time, all right? And so the way that an if statement works, as do any other formula, is you start with the equals. In this case, if it's an if statement, we want the if, followed by the statement. What are we trying to say right over here? So in this particular case, we're going to be looking at maybe the sales over here and saying, okay, well, if the sales are, say, over $200,000, we're going to give ourselves a nice hefty bonus, all right? So we're going to go say if this particular cell, in this case C7, is greater than 200,000, we're going to give ourselves a nice big bonus. And so we're going to give ourselves a nice 20% bonus, and it's going to be 20% of whatever we sold. So we're going to go 20% of C7. And if you didn't make it over $200,000, well, you're going to get 0. So we're going to just go 0 times C7. And so here we're going to have $128,000 bonus. It's going to be quite sweet right over there. And then you can go ahead and highlight and go through all of these as well. And so it looks kind of nice. You can also then format it so that it's in dollars as well. And that's the if statement in a nutshell. Just quick review. What's your statement? Afterwards, what's your true part to that? And then what's the false piece? So if it's not true, what happens if it's false? If we wanted to, instead of having, say, 0, saying you get nada, what we could have done over there is just have quotations, not, nada, nod, nada, whatever nada would be. So if you don't like that word, we can go just with straight up nothing. And voila, and we can change that for this. Now the 0 becomes nothing. So if you want to type in words, make sure that you have quotations with your words there on either side of the word. That's your if statement. The next thing we're going to be looking at doing is freezing. So this is part maybe 2, freezing columns, freezing rows. So maybe I want to know who my agent is every single time. And so maybe we're going to have a bunch more cells that are going to go further this way. So if that happens, we're going to highlight column A, we're going to go to View, Freeze, and we're going to say up to the current column. So it's just one column, but up to the current column. What you notice is a thick gray line appears. Now if we scroll to the right, you notice that the agent stays there and everything else scrolls to the right. We could also do that. Maybe we want to always see the title of our business for whatever reason. And so now I'm going to go to row 2 over here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go to the view, we're going to go to freeze, and we're going to go up to the current row. So this time we want to freeze both row 1 and 2. And so what you see is the gray line is over here. Now as we scroll up, what you notice is that title stays there. Everything else continues to scroll. So we've essentially frozen these first 2 rows. So you can freeze 2 rows, you can freeze 1 row, you can freeze 1 column like we just previously did. Number 3, quick little review on wrapping text. This looks ugly right over here. Maybe you want to separate this off. So what you can do is go Control, hold Control, hit Enter, and voila, now you have wrapped the text. So simple enough. All right, sometimes we're going to be looking at placing dates into your cells, and so the way to place a date in there is just the apostrophe date. And so you're going to go apostrophe, and this I guess can go with any, typing of any words here, but let's go with October the 2nd, 2020. And what you see then is October the 20th is here, and also October the 20th with that apostrophe is still over there. So that's the best way to type in the date, is with apostrophe before the date. The next thing, if you want to type in today's date, you're just going to go equals today, closed open bracket. All right. And voila, you have the date today. It's 4/20/2020. Special day, right? For anyone that has a birthday on April the 20th. Now, what can you actually do with birthdays and all that kind of fun stuff like that? Well, let's take a look at that. Imagine you had Jake's birthday, and he had a variety of friends. We don't want predictive text there. Jake, Susan, Alex, Brian, Marie, and Jennifer. So we have a variety of people in his class, and they have a variety of different types of birthdays, right? So let's go back to this good old October the 2nd and 2004. October 31st, let's go with Halloween, 2004 as well. Let's do December 31st, 2003. Let's go with January the 2nd of 2002. And now let's just whatever, copy it. Maybe they had, Brian and Ryan had birthdays the same day. Okay, what else? And August the 11th. All right, so that's their birthday right over there. Today's date. So we go over here, equals today, close open brackets, so you can see that right up over here. And we just need to place that once, that's fine. Now, what we're gonna be doing is saying how old. What's your age? What's my age again? So the way it works is it's going to be a dated if formula. So dated if, you're going to open this up. You're going to follow it first with the birthday. So birthday is going to be first, followed by today's actual day. And then the last thing is going to be quotations with a Y, quotations. I think the Y stands for years. So we're going to be able to say how many years old is this individual today. Well, Jake today is 15 years old. And ooh, look what happens here. There's an error. Well, why is that? Well, if we look back to this first formula here, what we did was we referenced B2, C2 over here. Now it's referencing B3, C3. There is nothing for C3. So if we go back here, we're going to have to use an absolute value here for C2. We always want to use today's date in column C. You get 15. Now if you drag this, you're going to have all the proper values here. So we have a couple 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, two 18-year-olds, and so on. So easy, quick way to determine what the age of an individual is. All right. One other housekeeping matter before we go to conditional formatting is, well, what happens if you want to insert another column? Well, select the column you wish to add a column next to it, right-click it, and then you can either insert one to the left of it, or you can insert one to the right of it. So let's go over here and insert one to the right of it. And what you see is a new column right over here. And you can do the exact same thing with rows as well. So you can insert one above, one below. So maybe we forgot one other person that was potentially invited to the birthday party here. So we will go with Brendan. All right, his birthday is in October as well, 22nd of 2003. Click and drag. All right. Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's quickly go through that one more time. It's equals Datedif. The first one is your birthday. So it's birthday, followed by today's date, followed by quotation, wide quotation, signifying that you want this value in years. And we had absolute values because we were referencing this cell every single time. All right, let's go ahead and let's do some conditional formatting now. And then this is the last piece we're going to leave you with today. And this could maybe be valuable in the sense that, this guy only wants to invite people that are 15 or 16 to his birthday. He doesn't want to have anyone any older than that. All right, so Jake over here is going to be looking to do that. So we're going to be right-clicking. We're going to go to conditional formatting. And we've already highlighted these cells. So if we're applying to the range, we've already got the range from E2 to E9. And we're going to say, okay, well, if the information is either greater than, well, actually, it wouldn't be greater than or equal to. It would be, with the information we have above, we could use this one right over here. We could say is between, let's try to see if this works, is between 15 and 16. And so now we can go ahead and color it maybe something festive, maybe a little bit brighter than that. And so now we've been able to quickly identify which people are 15 to 16. It's pretty easy when you only have like 8 pieces of information, but if you had a lot more friends or a lot more people that you were looking to invite to your birthday, maybe that number would be a lot higher. And so you can fill it, or you can even change the text color as well if you wanted to. And so you can do both of that. Now, if all of a sudden you wanted to have another one too, saying that those that are above 16, maybe you want to have some different formatting for that. So what you could do is you can always add another rule. So in this case here, maybe we're saying if it's greater than 16, it's going to be colored something else. And so again, we can color it whatever else. We can color it black, saying these people are not invited to the birthday party. And so you're not even seeing their age because they're just too old and they're just not invited. So you could go ahead and do that. So you could actually have a bunch of conditional formatting for a particular column or row or even particular cell. And so it's just very handy. So yes, you can go ahead and do that using these pieces right over here. But as you see, if we just change one piece of information, so let's say we changed birthday, Jennifer made a mistake. She was actually, it was a typo on her birth certificate. She wasn't born in 2004. She was actually born in 2002. Well, she's actually too old. She's more than 16 years old. And so now her age gets blacked out there because she's over 16. She's no longer invited to the birthday, right? And so that could be with anything. So you can kind of see if you were to change these values, then that affects the other cells immediately. So it's very, very powerful in that way, where you just change one value here and it just changes the formatting completely over there without you having to like highlight and underline if all of a sudden something was to change over here. Maybe you inputted something wrong, right? And as time goes along, if this was say tomorrow or the next day, these values could potentially change. So for example, maybe we change one of these ones here. So instead of August 11th, we're gonna go with April 21st. So still 16 over here. And now if we were to change this date here, instead go with equals, sorry, not equals, April 21st. And voila, she is now turned to 17 years old. So you can see that as the date even changes a little bit, then you can see what ends up happening there. We could have probably done this by going today +1. I think that might work as well. Yes. See, so look at this. Now it's today's date is the 21st. So you can actually modify that as well. So if you wanted to say, okay, well, in a week from now something's going to happen, well, you could just go ahead and go +7, and then now today's date is the 27th of April, which it actually is not. So let's get rid of that. Well, that's conditional formatting. Let me just check on my paper in front of me here, making sure I went over everything. We went over if statements, we went over freezing rows and columns, wrapping text, inserting the date, inserting today's date, inserting columns, using Datedif, and conditional formatting. So yes, that concludes the lesson. Go out there, have fun, enjoy, and if you have any questions, you can talk to Mr. Labar or myself. Thanks.